In studio with us, head coach D'Amico Ryans, back from the bye. Coach, how was it for you? How much did you unplug?
Not much. No, it's definitely refreshing. It's good to be back. Excited to be back out on the grass with the guys and just feeling that buzz, feeling the energy from our guys. For me, I tried to unplug a little bit, but it was just hard. It's hard for me not to come in the office and unplug. I did get a chance to spend a lot of time with the family, like sitting in the car lines a lot, driving the kids to and from school, having conversations with them. That's the one thing I'm most thankful for, just being able to spend more quality time with them throughout the break. And that was very beneficial for me. Joyous just to be around them as much as I could.
That can be productive time in the car lines, right?
No doubt. You get a lot of great questions, a lot of great conversations in the car line.
I'm telling you, kids at your age, the kids of your age, they can come up with some questions and make go, hey, man, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, maybe I need to take that under advisement. Coach, when you walked in and you talked to your team today and you think back to like before the bye week, could you sense like, oh, yeah, we definitely needed that bye? Like your players coming in there feeling refreshed, revitalized this late in the year? Because I know it felt like everybody we talked to, man, we were done with Jacksonville. I was like, oh, man, we need this bye. Did you kind of sense that when guys walked in, like they look refreshed, they look ready to go?
Exactly. That's exactly what I felt. Stepping into the team meeting, seeing the guys, down lifting this morning, you feel that energy. It's like, man, we needed that getaway. Yep. And now I feel that also that sense of urgency, like, okay, now it's time to get to work.
Time to go.
Now it's time to go. It's time to go finish the season strong. And I'm excited to be back, feel them back, and just like how I'm also so excited for just how much better we can play. Just watching some of our tape over the break, just seeing how much better we can play and we execute the right way and we play together as a team. So I'm excited to see us continue, and even at this point of the season, have opportunity to grow, get better. Like, I'm excited for it.
Coach, as you've had some time to reflect, what about team identity? How important is that, and how do you see it with the Texans heading into these final 4 games of the regular season?
Yeah, with our identity, right, it's still that swarm mentality from our offense, defense, and special teams. That's who we are, right? And that's just operating with precision. That's the first and foremost. Like, when I talk about precision, it's just everybody being on all the small details of your job, being exactly where you're supposed to be. Like, when we operate with precision, then we play with exceptional effort. Like, and I see that identity, it shows up at times for us, honestly, but I want to see it more consistently, like the effort. A lot of big plays have gotten out on us, especially defensively, because the effort wasn't all the way like it needed to be. So we need to pick up that part of the effort, and then the physicality piece. Like, we want to be the most physical team when we step on the field, and that's who we're becoming, right? And it's always still a process as you go throughout the season of playing with precision, effort, and physicality. That's who we are, right? And we show it at times. We just have to be it consistently.
You've rubbed off on me in a sense, Coach, because I'll watch college games now, and I know that's kind of off in the distance. But I watch a guy and I go, "Is he swarm?" Like, that's what I want to know. Like, I don't care how good a player is, but like, can he fit here? Like, that swarm mentality is like what I want to see in every player that you have going forward. So you definitely rubbed off from that perspective. Miami's coming up, and man, I don't need to tell you, they're fast. That's something you did talk about at the press conference. But as a defensive coordinator, facing a team that's that fast, I know it sounds obvious, like, well, they're fast, they can run by you. Well, what are the biggest issues when you're facing a team that's got that kind of explosive ability? Like, in a snap, they could take one to the house, no matter where the ball is, where it's thrown, how it's handed, all that.
Yeah, the biggest thing is going to come down to, like, at the point of attack, when it's time to tackle, like, you think you're there, but you have to take that extra step, and our guys just really have to realize this week, like, I need to take that extra step. And it's okay if you shoot your gun and you miss, because if everybody is swarming and running to the football, then we don't really worry about the missed tackles, or you can't be concerned or worried about, if I miss him, no, everybody's going to be around the football. You just go and shoot your shot. And when you shoot, you may just make the guy hesitate.
Right.
And that's all we need. Right. We need the guy to hesitate so all the other 10 guys can come and swarm the ball carrier and try to take the ball away from him. But the speed, if you mess around and you miss, like, they just have the ability, especially the receiver, where they can take a slant to the house, the back A-chain. They do a really good job in the screen game getting him the football. And he can take a screen, and he has that explosive speed to take it all the way to the house. So that's where the speed shows up.
What's the key in defending a screen, since we're on the subject here? Because sometimes guys, they do get fooled, but you can't be fooled, but you got to be ready for anything. So how do you handle that?
Right. The key to the screen is, first off, the D-line having great awareness, right? When you're not blocked, you have to be able to stop in your tracks and just turn and follow the offensive lineman. So the offensive lineman who just left you, I always say you get in his hip pocket and you track him, and he's going to take you directly to the football. That's one key with the D-line. And then on the perimeter, like whether you're in zone coverage or man coverage, we have to have the edge set at the numbers. So you want to have the edge set at the numbers, and you want to force that guy back into our D lineman who should be chasing the hip. You force him back into the D lineman, that's when you get the big hits on the screen. But a lot of times when the screen gets out, D linemen are way too far upfield. There's no edge set on the perimeter, and a guy can, get explosive play after explosive play on the screen.
Coach, I know it was 2023, but you did face these guys in practice at least and in a preseason game. And I know you can't get a lot out of the preseason game at that particular point, but going against them in practice just to kind of feel that speed. I know Waddle didn't participate, but Tyreek was there. And feeling his speed and knowing his speed and changing the angle as a player, like, hey, I know if 10's got the ball, I might not need to beat him here. I might need to beat him here. Does that help that you guys have at least faced him to at least be on the same field to kind of feel that speed?
I think it helps a little bit, but at the end of the day, like it's so long ago where we have a lot of different guys who are here now that they have to actually go out and do it. And I think I know we have the guys with the right mentality, especially on the edge, like with Kamari and Steen. We just have to play physical at the line of scrimmage. When we give the opportunity to, we have to play physical at the line of scrimmage to try to slow down Waddle and Hill.
Well, with Hill, let's get into him a little bit because it's unique. It seems like you could throw the ball as far as possible, and he's going to find a way to track it down. His ball location skills are outstanding.
His ball, I mean, it's off the charts. When you look at it, like how many catches has he made looking over his shoulder. He's an exceptional talent, right? And he's one of the best receivers in his league. Has been the best since he's been in the NFL. Like just play after play, he has a highlight show, right? And you try to eliminate those highlights by playing him physical and getting on him as much as you can. He's going to get touches. He's going to get plays, but we can't, you can't lose our mind. If he makes a big play, like it's not out of the norm. That's what he does, but you just can't allow that big play to go for 6.
Yeah, how about that mindset, Coach? Because it's almost like basketball. The other team's going to score some baskets, right? They're going to get theirs, but you have to limit it as much as possible and maintain your attitude out there.
Yeah, the biggest thing is you have to limit the explosive plays with these guys. So, limiting our safeties will play a big role in this game. Like when the play, if it does happen to break, we don't want it to break, but if a play does break, our safeties have to do a great job of what we call erasing that play from our defense, and that's erasing it by not allowing points. So our safeties have to play big this game, corners have to play big, and if we get the opportunity, the ball comes out so quick, but if we get the opportunity to rush, our D-line could play a big factor in this game, but it's always going to start with the coverage and being tight in coverage versus their receivers.
Coach Weave has taken over as defensive coordinator for Miami. He's done a nice job thus far. It feels like the secondary has got some athletes. They got some dudes that can move. Javon Holland was one of my favorites a few years ago, what he can do for them. Jalen Ramsey on one side. But up front, they got a few guys that can move. Seiler inside is a guy that can do some things. What do you see with that Miami defense that CJ and the offense will have to contend with the most?
Yeah, first and foremost, we have to contend with their D-line. Bigger defensive line. They'll have a 5 down front, so bigger line that we have to contend with. A lot of power. Seiler does a good job inside. Then you have Chop Robinson, who has the speed coming off the edge, and rookie who's figuring it out, playing some productive snaps for him. But I think for us offensively, we have to find that soft spot in the middle of their defense. And I think that's where the linebackers think we can kind of make some plays in the middle of the field, outside, and in the deep end. Holland, as you mentioned, he's an exceptional talent, really young player who's ascending, playing really well. Ramsey, all-pro. He's been productive player for every year of his career. He's been one of the best corners in the league. But we have to move our guys around, right? Make them communicate on defense. And we still have to try to expose the middle of the field.
Anthony was a big free agent signing when you were a player here. What are your memories of playing on the same defense with him?
Yeah, I remember Anthony, man. He's always big smile. He was always a fun guy to be around. Great teammate. He always always like to have a good time. So I always enjoy being around Weave, him being a veteran, as a guy that I looked up to. He played the game the right way, always respected him for what he's done. And to see him get into coaching, I've always followed him. And he's done a really great job everywhere he's been coaching. And just to see the improvement that they made defensively throughout the year, couldn't be more proud of Weave and the job that he's done. Hopefully he's up for one of these head coaching jobs that comes around at the end of this year. And me and Weave also share the same birthday, so that was our instant connection.
Oh, cool.
We were birthday brothers, so Weave's done a great job.
Go ahead and say, Coach, he's a little older.
He's a little older.
Offensively, Nico Collins being back, Tank being back. What do you want to see from your offense going forward? Because against Jacksonville, it felt like in the second half you started to see some of those moments like, okay, I like seeing this. Then Joe finishing the game, running the football. We talked about Miami's defense and where they could be vulnerable. What do you want to see from CJ and the offense just from a Texan standpoint, regardless of who's on the other side, whether it's any of these next 4 teams, but what do you want to see from the offense going forward?
Yeah, for me, all I want to see us is move the ball, get positive yards, right? However that looks, if it's passing the football, that's where we lean heavy. Passing, that's what it is, right? Just continuing to gain positive yards when we have to run it, and we can find a way to run the ball, let's do it. But to me, it's just operating and playing fast, operating with that execution that I speak of. Like if we have a guy open, let's hit him, right? If it's not there, how quickly can we get the ball to our check down? And let's let our playmakers get the ball in their hand and allow them to make plays. But I just want to see us operating as efficient as possible, getting the ball out quickly, and also being just efficient in the run game. No negative plays, no tackles for losses. How can we continue to press forward? As I always talk to our offense about, is pressing forward. That's how we get out of the third and long situations that we find ourselves in. Just if we handle protection the right way, eliminate the negative plays, and just play fast on offense, no matter who we play coming down the stretch, we'll be in a good spot.
Coach, in your experience coming off a bye, is there a common theme? Like you do get a little extra boost of energy? Is there any rust? Is there anything to watch out for? What can you tell us about that?
It's with the bye being in so many different parts of the season. I've had them early, had them late. You just want to make sure guys are getting back to making sure you put the pads on, get back used to the pads and playing physical, because you get away from that, you can kind of show up in games where the tackling – it may be an issue. So I want to attack that head on to make sure we're overemphasizing, just putting body on body, wrapping up and tackling. But I think the energy, the speed, everything will be there. Just a matter of just being efficient with the tackling. That's the one part that I've seen lacking when you come off a bye week.
Coach, a couple of guys come back to practice, potentially Christian Harris being back, Kenyon Green. Can you speak to what they may be able to bring, whether it's this week, next week, or maybe down the road a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, getting into Christian has been out for a while. We missed him. He's missed a lot of football. Unfortunate injury that happened to him, but I'm just proud of the way he's persevered. It's been a long road, but I'm happy to see him just back out there today, seeing a 48 on the field. It's encouraging. I'm excited for him and what he brings that speed and physicality to our defense. You talk about a swarm mentality, like that's Christian. He's going to fly around. He's going to play sideline to sideline. And that's what we need in our defense, a guy like him who can play sideline to sideline. It's all over the field. He can take the football away, so he can be an impact player for us as soon as he gets back out on the field. Kenyon, this guy, he started for us for a while there, and he had some good reps. Kenyon has been up and down, but we know the good one is good. It'll be good. He's a physical guy. He can move people in the run game. Just has to clean up some of the protection. But we'll see how he continues to progress throughout the week, see how, he comes back, and if he's ready to get back out there, and I think he can help us.
I wanted to ask you a question about defense going into a game, and not this particular game, but in general. When you game plan, you'd love to get pressure with the front four and not have to send anybody extra. Do you go into a game thinking, I want to send extra people this game, I might not, and adjust on the fly? How do you handle that, Coach?
Yeah, I always like to have my blitzes and different looks available. I always tell the coaches, I don't want to have to use these. So if I can go in and we can rush and win with 4, that's ideal for any defensive coordinator when the D-line is really humming up front and they're getting at their offensive line, and I can deploy more guys in coverage, and we can take some things away. But if you have to blitz, it just makes the look a lot easier for the quarterback. It cleans up the picture. He can see the one-on-ones much easier when you do blitz. So you are rolling the dice a little bit there, putting the coverage guys on the island, so to speak, and they have to really make that play, or you have to make sure you're getting home. So we have to design them the right way to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly enough so the defenders so the DBs can make a play on the football. If it's not designed right, and I've had some of those where they weren't right and the quarterback is able to hold on to the ball, it's like, why did I call that? Yeah. So you have, pick your poison, right? You have, if you feel like you have a tail on an offense, you feel like you have their protection rules down and you can attack their protection and for sure you can speed the quarterback up, then let's get after it. But for me, I would like to rely on 4 as much as I can.
Coach, you kind of took me down a road I was thinking about, because I was thinking about this weekend being on the bye. There's a lot of football on, whether you're hanging with the kids, maybe the kid, you're just watching a game and you see something. And I start thinking about, like, you as a play caller, as a defensive play caller, how have you adjusted, or how have you evolved as a play caller? Like, you came in thinking you would be like this, but maybe you lean more this way because of the talent that you have or the talent you don't have. How have you kind of changed as a play caller over the years, and in particular the last couple of years since you've been here?
Yeah, each year for me, I kind of go in thinking one way of how I want to be aggressive and, playing a tight man match coverage. And it continues, it evolves, weekly, honestly, like who's up on defense.
Right.
Like, injuries play a huge part in the what am I calling, when am I calling it. So it's just all based on personnel, right? And trying to make sure, for me as a coordinator, when I first started, I had an idea, okay, this is what I'm running, and then as I continue to grow, I see, like, man, just because you like running this, it doesn't always work.
Right.
So you have to be able to adjust and adapt, also adapt to offenses who are changing and doing so many different things. Offenses, they get your rules down on defense and they start to attack you and exploit you. So now you have to kind of be a step ahead, right, and play that chess match with guys. So most of the time it's about the offensive coordinator who I'm going against and how I want to move our guys around. And it also has to do with the personnel that I have defensively and who can I put in a tough matchup and not be concerned with.
So as you're watching game, just any game, and you're thinking, if I was facing that offense, do you kind of play that game as you're watching? Just kind of the game is on. You're like, what? They do this. Just kind of challenging yourself, whether it's pro or college. Like, hey, if I was facing this, I think I would like to do this against them. Do you kind of watch games that way?
Always. I can't watch games the same anymore.
You call out formations and sets and things?
Yeah, always telling my son, like, oh, they're about to run this. So he's like, I'm always thinking about what they're doing. And also offensively, I'm looking like, man, that's a cool play. That's a cool concept. I can see how they showed them one thing and they played off of it. So I just enjoy the beauty of football and just the ins and out that a lot of people don't get to see. But it's also probably hard to watch games with me because I'm calling out, trying to call out every play that's going on.
It's just habit. You're just used to it.
I can't help it.
We haven't talked about this in a while, but what's the latest on what's in your headset? Because I think you've changed it. Maybe we talked about it last year. But what are you hearing? What can you share with the audience about what you hear, what you like to hear? Because you can hear everybody, but I got to imagine I don't want to hear everything, every little detail. So how does that work for you?
Can't hear a lot of chatter, so I have to make sure it's calmed down a little bit. But for me, I'm hearing the personnel on we have our guys upstairs. They're giving me the offensive personnel. What, is it 11, 12, 21 personnel? And we are making our calls. And, you hear, certain coaches are giving me, okay, these are the tendencies that they've had during these personnel groupings, or how I may ask, how are these tendencies changed throughout the game? So there's a lot of information that's running through the headset, and then I do have to make a call. So
that part.
So sometimes I'm in a little too late getting a call in, but our backers, they do a great job. If I am late getting a call, we already know the go-to calls. We talked about them throughout the week, so they got my back just in case I'm a little too late getting them a call. But there can be a ton of information. I think I always want to hear just what's beneficial in that moment. Like, we can blurt out a lot of things, but I only want to hear something that's going to help me to put our guys in a favorable position.
And along those lines, you only can talk to your, who's ever got the communication set on. They can't talk back to you. So do they have ways that, hand signals and things that they can send back to you, like speaking sign language,
Can
basically?
they shake you off like baseball?
Baseball shake
some
you
of them
off.
try to. They try to shake me off, but they'll give me a thumbs up
Yeah.
every once in a while. But they probably get tired of me because if I have enough time, like I'm trying to give our guys,
Yeah,
hey,
that's
this
much.
formation, this may come
Yeah.
up, and it's like, D'Amico, I have to talk to myself a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, D'Amico, relax and let them go play.
When you were a player, what did you like in your headset when you were playing?
Just give me the call and leave me alone. But now I'm the opposite. I'm that guy now, trying to give way too much information to the guys.
All right, I have a couple more quickies for you. One, I'm coaching youth basketball.
Nice.
So it's a luxury problem, but when is it polite for me to take the ringer out, right? What lead is safe? And how should I handle this, coach?
You should be thankful that you have a ringer
I
first
am.
and
It's a
foremost,
luxury
man.
problem.
I think you get up by 10. You should take him out. No,
And
20.
you're a coach.
Are you,
Like, what
have you
lead
been
is
up by
safe,
20
coach?
yet? Have you been up by 20?
No, we were up by like 15.
Oh yeah.
How much time left?
There was full quarter. I took them out for a while. They
gotta
got
keep
within 12. I was like, get back in. Right
Yeah. Man, lucky you.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have. And the Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week. We have Kids Day coming up on Sunday. That's the theme of the game. So do you have a favorite toy or something or an activity as a kid, other than sports, but was there a toy you like to play with, some kind of a toy as a kid, young
man,
or
what did I like?
medium age?
I mean, we did the Rock'em Sock'em Robot
yeah.
deal. That
Heck
was
yeah.
that was a fun one
That's
to
a
play
good
with.
one.
And of course the video game, the Nintendo or Sega,
Yeah.
that was always fun to play with. But I know it's not sport, but anytime you got like a new bike and you can just get some wheels and take off,
yeah.
that was always fun as well. But man, it was definitely a lot of sports in the neighborhood being
right.
played, but those little toys, or you get remote control cars. I go back to that. The remote control cars were also a fun one. Try to build a little ramp, make the cars go over the ramp.
Yes.
So that's
Daredevil.
yeah,
Catch
just
some air.
being outside and just
Yeah.
having fun being a kid. That's what I enjoy most.
Awesome. Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck this week.
Thank you.